Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve here, and today I am super excited to be introducing a new series to you guys. Essentially, I'm going to be shoutcasting over matches played by you guys, and I'm really excited to be doing this. If you want to be a part of them, go ahead and join my Discord server. Link is in the description below. But really, I need your guys' help because I need help thinking of a name for this series, and I don't know what I'm going to do for it. So go ahead and comment down below something that is catchy, something that rolls off the tongue easily. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. So the winner, the one that I pick, will obviously end up being the name of this series, and they will also get a shout out in the video, the next video of this series. Thank you so much, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, let's go ahead and follow this match here. As the teams run out, we are going to go ahead and get right into it here, seeing what each team can do. Very excited to go ahead and see what happens with this match. Not exactly sure how it's going to go, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the lane because that's normally where the most interesting, although there have been tendencies to do a jungle invade early in the game recently. However, that's in high elo play, and this isn't. There's probably like 3 POAs in this, but I wouldn't consider that high elo play because it's not consistently POA in Vainglory's. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and see what happens here. We have a Vox and a Gwen in lane. Gwen looking like she's going to be going weapon power. Vox the same, and it's going to be interesting because we see Vox going with the Book of Eulogies to start out, and Gwen doing the same. However, Gwen does have that light armor, so she's going to be able to deflect a little bit of Vox's damage in the early game, and obviously he's already not good at poking early game, especially weapon Vox, so she's going to have an edge on him. If she decides to play aggressive, she can definitely bully him out of lane potentially, and so we're going to see what he does here. But right now Gwen really isn't making too many moves on him, so it's going to be interesting. There's an auto attack coming out from the Gwen. We see a gank coming up from red team. Very, very nice. Vox trying to get away, but he will fall. Very, very nice gank on the side of that red team. Now they're on to Grace, but she will go ahead and see. She's not going to back off. She's going to go ahead. Okay, so she's safely backing away. I was like, what? But yeah, so that Fortress, like we talked about with the gank potential with Fortress, very, very strong. Another gank coming in, this time from the blue side, and they will be able to get Gwen, it looks like. Yes. Very, very nice job. So we're seeing very aggressive comps coming out of both sides. On one side, we have the Grace and the Kashka. Both have that extreme A with that gap, that extreme distance gap closer. And then on the other side, we have that Fortress with that ability to immediately aggress on to his opponents with that Black Feather. Black Feather can dive in with Faint of Heart. Fortress can dive in with that Truth of the Tooth, and they could just really get in there and do some damage. And obviously that's what they did to Vox, and obviously Kashka and Grace have that capability to get in on the Grace as well. So we're going to be seeing hopefully some more ganks coming out of both teams if they want to be able to pressure these laners early on. And we are going to see probably a farm different start to happen here because Vox right now at 19, 21, Gwen's at 18. They are staying pretty consistent in terms of their farm. And I think the junglers are staying pretty consistent in terms of the farm anyway, or as well. In terms of builds, we have that weapon power Gwen and Vox in lane, both weapon power carries. I feel like weapon power carries in lane right now are extremely popular. But meanwhile, we do have a gank going on. The Holy Nova coming out. Fortress getting stunned up, doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Vox taking a lot of damage from Gwen. He will fall, actually. And now Grace is the next target. However, Grace doing a lot of damage to Gwen. Gwen is forced to back away. Gwen almost goes down. Gwen goes down. And so does Fortress. Grace gets a double kill. Extremely impressive here. Literally, she did that with just an oak heart. Very, very impressive Grace here we see. Meanwhile, we see this Black Feather diving onto the Kashka. Obviously, both are assassins, so they both do a lot of damage, but neither of them have a lot of health, so they really can't stick around for too long unless they want to fully engage. Kashka diving in with her Pouncy Fun, doing a lot of damage, almost taking out Black Feather, but now she has to get away as Gwen chases after her. It doesn't look like Gwen is going to follow up with anything there. Not going to go after it. Not worth it, really, at this point in the game to get those kills. Fortress looking for a potential gank with the two. Diving in, using his Law of the Claw as well. Not going to be enough to go ahead without any follow-up damage from Black Feather. However, Black Feather is going that crystal path, and we also see Kashka going those crystal paths. So very consistent. I feel like I was saying before, we got interrupted by a team fight, but weapon carries are very, very popular in lane right now. It's, you know, like all the games that I've been commentating, I've commentated 3 so far. All 3 of them, there were weapon carries on both sides of the lane. It's amazing. So, yeah, they are very dominant right now. Hopefully we'll see some Scars and still Celeste come out soon, and some Crystal Boxes, I guess. You know, but right now, weapon carries are very popular. And we also see, you know, obviously in the jungle, Crystal carries coming out of both sides as well. So Grace, because of her, she's 3-0 right now. It's crazy for a support. She already has her fountain, and meanwhile Fortress doesn't even have a fountain yet. So it's gonna be very interesting. Blackfeather doing some poke damage. Koshka diving with Pansy Fun doing a good amount of damage as well. Holy Nova goes off, but it is not going to connect with anyone. Chrysler X looking for a potential engagement here with the enemy team, but however, they are moving into the enemy brush. Blackfeather is not here, so red team does have to be careful as they back away towards their turret. Vox looking to go ahead and shove this lane into the enemy turret so they can go ahead and get some hits on the turret. Fortress taking a lot of damage from that. Koshka with her burst damage. She obviously has both components of Shatterglass. She has another Crystal Bit and an Hourglass. She is doing a lot of damage right now. We see on the other side, Gwen has both components of Sorrow Blade and working towards that Bar Beetle, so probably going for Sorrow Blade Serpent Mask or Sorrow Blade Shiv or something like that. And let's go ahead and head down to the jungle. We see Blackfeather farming up his jungle, Koshka heading into her backs as well. In the middle, Grace heading back up, and Fortress heading probably back up to his lane. Oh, he's going to head down to Blackfeather, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what happened, or what's happening in the lane. Grace diving onto Gwen. Gwen taking a good amount of damage, but she will back off safely into the safety of her turret. We see now Fortress looking for a potential engagement. Buckshot Bonanza going off onto Vox. Truth of the Tooth diving onto Vox. Not going to be enough to connect. Vox actually goes back at them, getting a couple resonance bounces on them. However, as a weapon, Vox not going to be too effective in terms of resonance bounces, but we will, it's definitely something. Potential team fight's gonna break out here. I'm not gonna do too much color casting because yeah, here comes the play-by-play. We see Blackfeather diving in, but he will back out. Fortress taking a lot of damage as both teams kind of don't want to take this all the way. Will Koshka go onto this Blackfeather using Pouncy Fun and her empowered auto attacks to go ahead and get Blackfeather down to about half health. And we see meanwhile Grace backing off onto the top of the lane. Fortress and Gwen, yeah, doing all that they can to go ahead and fend off this turret. Blackfeather wants to win, but he pretty much knows that all three members of blue team are in this bush, so he does have to be careful as the game progresses here. So Gwen and Fortress coming up. Neither are sure, really. Yeah, okay, so Gwen's just getting all the farm that she possibly can. 62 right now CS in terms of Gwen. That's really consistent. That's almost 10 CS per minute. Really at that mark. Very impressive. Vox has 59, so also doing very well. Looks like all of red team is pretty much in the base right now, whereas blue team farming up their own jungle. So if they want to, they could take gold miner, but they have no idea that red team is that far away. So fortunately, they are going to miss out on that opportunity. But yeah, Vox, his build pretty interesting right now. We are seeing a Serpent Mask coming out as his first item. Would not expect that out of a Vox. Weapon power Vox, that is not really the build right now, but we'll go ahead and see how he does with it. Obviously taking a lot of damage from that Gwen and actually getting caught with that stun there. Whole Divine Intervention coming in and saving his life. Gwen taking a lot of damage from Koshka. She will have to back off. Again, make kind of difference. He goes on to Blackfeather. He gets stunned up and as well by the Holy Nova. Grace will take him out, and so will Fortress go down as well. Meanwhile, Grace diving back onto Gwen. Gwen is the only one left on red team now as blue team pushes in to this last turret. We're going to see what happens here. Will they be able to get this turret? Gwen, really, she's very low on energy. She's low on health. Will she be able to defend all three members of blue team? Koshka diving with Putsy Fun and Twirly Death. She will go ahead and grab that kill as the fountain comes in. She has to be careful of the turrets, but she will be okay. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now they are taking this turret. Blackfeather's back here, though. Koshka will fall as a result. And now Fortress diving onto this Grace. Grace tries to defend. Grace has to focus on her Vox, though Vox is getting focused on by Blackfeather. Faint of Heart will take out that Vox. Grace has to back off. That's not going to be enough in terms of her saving him. Vox picking up a serpent, or not a barb needle, sorry. So he is going to be going for a Shiv, it looks like. So Serpent Mask Shiv, he's going full lifesteal right now. Very interesting build from this Vox. Now red team is going to get a counter push on this turret. Not much Grace can do. She goes in with Benediction and her Holy Nova. Koshka dives in with Pouncy Fun and Twirly Death, doing a good amount of damage. However, Blackfeather has a ton with that CP sword with on point, doing a lot of damage with that. Grace coming out with her ult. And Fortress looking for potential engage, but he's not going to do anything. He doesn't have his ult. He's going to go ahead and back off with his team. On the other side, we do see this Vox farming up the lane. 70 farm to Grace's Gwen, 76. So he isn't doing too bad. Build, like I said, is kind of questionable, but we're going to see what happens with it later on. Yeah, I mean, if it works for him, it'll work. But Lord Yato grabbing the Shatterglass. Aftershock, pretty classic with Koshka as far as I know. I haven't seen a lot of Koshkas recently, to be honest. So, I mean, when I used to play Koshka, that was pretty much the standard. And we see Gwen, obviously, Gwen and Fortress going with the standard support items. Potential engage here from Red Team going with Truth of the Tooth. Fortress doesn't really want to follow it up. Vox doing a good amount of damage with his weapon power. He has to be careful to go ahead and dodge those on points the best that he possibly can, because Blackfeather really is doing a lot of damage right now with this CP. Gwen looking for potential engage. She has Buckshot Bonanza. However, Grace coming in with Benediction going in. However, Grace will back out as blue team looks for a way to engage. So Koshka diving onto Blackfeather. Yummy Kind of Frenzy going onto Blackfeather. All three members of blue team dive onto Blackfeather. He will fall. Attack at the back coming up from that fortress, but he will get focused down immediately after. However, he is going to get away, and now Gwen is caught in the middle of it. She will go down. So the support Fortress just completely abandoned his carry. Interesting fight there. Very good job on the side of blue team. Kind of took the game back, gave him a really nice fight. That will allow Vox to get his poison chip, and so now he's got 2 lifesteal items. He's got 20% passive lifesteal now from both of those items combined. And we see Lord Yato, obviously no lifesteal, but on the side of Gwen, she does have this 10% lifesteal from that poison chip, and obviously the passive that gives you the mortal wound strike. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Vox will do here. That technique of focusing down Blackfeather worked. However, it wasn't actually a formal team fight in which all 3 members were involved. It was more finding Blackfeather caught out, focusing him down, and then, you know, focusing Gwen because they came in to help. Gwen actually beating Vox in this trade right now. Fortress diving on with Truth of the Tooth. It's not going to be enough to totally finish Vox, unfortunately, but they will be able to. Oh, so Blackfeather looking for an engage on point coming in. Vox does the right decision and backs out. Now Vox, oh, Blackfeather looking for that engage. However, that's going to be a lot of damage. Divine Intervention coming up from that Grace, going to give him a 475 health heal. He will be back up pretty much to half health right now, going to go ahead and defend that turret. Meanwhile, red team heading down to go ahead and potentially take this gold miner. Looks like blue team is completely unaware of it as far as we know. Yeah, so they don't really, looks like Vox maybe has a feeling. Here comes attack at the back to go ahead and keep them at bay. They're going to go ahead and get that gold mine before blue team can arrive on scene. And we're going to see them go ahead and grab some stuff in the shop. So Blackfeather, will he be able to finish his, no, he's not close to finishing his Broken Myth. We see Fortress getting an Aftershock, very interesting. So he has finished both supports. Oh, okay. So an engagement, we'll talk about the builds after. Lord Yato going in with her Impado auto attacks onto Chrysler X. Chrysler X is below half health, and now going onto Blackfeather. Blackfeather getting chunked down due to his lack of defense, and now Crystal Sentry's there to help defend, so blue team does smartly back away. However, they were actually really winning that engagement. I was shocked by the damage coming out of that Koshka. Potential re-engagement here, but Gwen has to be careful because she's very low on energy. So we'll see what happens here. Now Gwen Grace fairly caught out if she wants to engage here. Fortress looking for something, looking for a path. Grace diving in with Benediction. Holy Nova comes up, but it will not connect. Truth of Tooth going back in, and now Lord Yato getting focused down on that Koshka. Divine Intervention coming in. The Yellow Kind of Frenzy goes back onto that Fortress. Fortress will take some damage down. Fortress will go down. Blackfeather is next. Gwen is next. Gwen will go down. Blackfeather will go down. That is going to be it. That is an ace for blue team. Extremely, extremely fast. They immediately took control over that team fight and just, wow, they Yummy Kind of Frenzy re-engagement onto that Fortress, and then just immediate focus of the Blackfeather and the Grace pretty much simultaneously. They're able to take out both carries at once. Very, very impressive on the side of that blue team. So let's go ahead and see as we continue into this match. Sentry defeated, 2 lives remaining, so obviously still they're good there. 29k gold to about 26.5. So not too far of a goal discrepancy in terms of, or in that regard. So they are doing fine there. Let's go ahead and take a look. Red team getting all the farm that they possibly can. Obviously, they don't want to let blue team get any more ahead in terms of gold, because, you know, obviously Vainglory is meant to snowball. So if you start snowballing, it is going to be hard to come back. However, let's go ahead and see what happens here, because Awesome Possum doing a good job of, you know, keeping his distance in these team fights. I'm very impressed. He's kind of just staying back, letting this Grace and this Koshka engage. Koshka engaged onto that Fortress, and he just dived right in. It was really impressive. Let's go ahead and take a look. So Grace, Fountain, she has not picked up a Crucible, which is interesting. She instead decided to go for that Atlas Pauldron for Grace, which is probably a good decision, actually. And then she also went for a Shatterglass instead of another defensive item. So and it's interesting because Fortress did the same thing. Fortress went for that Aftershock instead of another defensive item. So both supports here very aggressive. They're both prioritizing some damage over you know, potential extra defense and utility for their team. So diving on to Blackfeather, Koshka's just deep into this fight. She's taking a good amount of damage. Holy Nova comes off. Gonna make kind of frenzy back on, but Koshka will fall. And now red team re-engaging onto this Vox. They're gonna dive on him as fast as possible. To the Tooth comes in out of this Vox. Blackfeather is on Vox. He wants Vox as best as possible. Divining Adventure comes in. That is a heal of 533. Will it be enough to go ahead and help Vox cut away? No. Grace goes down. Vox goes down. That is an ace for red team. So unfortunately, just not enough damage. Koshka dived in a little prematurely there. She didn't let Grace engage for her team, and she instead decided to dive in, and then she was kind of she took too much damage. Then she had to back out, but she ended up going down instead. Then it was a 2v3, and it wasn't very good for blue team. So unfortunately, fortunately for blue team, that will be an ace. That will mean their second turret. Not too big of a deal for them because now the turrets are even. But yeah, if they let red team get another fight, then that would kind of put it would put red team in the lead. Because it would most likely give them another turret and the Kraken, which is now up 15 minutes into the game. We do see Kraken arising out of her cave there, out of her den. And yeah, red team doing as much as they can to farm here, but Grace, she really needs to be the one on blue team initiating these fights, because right now we do see the Koshka going in, and sometimes prematurely, and it's really it costed blue team the last fight for sure. We'll see what happens in this next one. Gonna be very interesting to see how these teams react. Koshka heading up. Let's go ahead and see what they decide to do. Blue team actually heading around. They're gonna go ahead and get the farm out of the lane because they don't want the farmer to be pushed this far over. In case they win a team fight, they're gonna have to go all the way back to get it. So the idea is they'll probably push it over right now and then probably start a team fight. Meanwhile, we see red team moving kind of into blue side of the jungle, moving into this tri-brush here. As blue is going to come down, they're potentially going to be caught. Chrysler just kind of ran out of the bush, so now they know that they're there. See what happens here. This is a very intense situation, very tense. See what happens. So Grace dropping another flare to see if they're taking that Kraken. Red team actually does have vision on the Kraken, which is probably the smart thing to have right now. Grace heading down. Gonna go ahead and grab that. Meanwhile, alright, so here comes blue team. Gwen from red team is still in the lane. However, looks like they may want to come down for a potential fight here. Gonna see if anything happens. So Chrysler has chilling in their tri-bush. Really nothing happening right now. Let's go ahead and see what is going on here. So yeah, so really just at this point we're just waiting for the next team fight, because once you get into that late game time, you see, you know, both teams very tense. Everybody has to stick together because really one wrong move from any one of the players could mean the game essentially. So we see red team coming down here, blue team looking for a potential fight. Here comes the team fight breaking out. Lord Yato using that Holy Nova kind of frenzy goes on to that Blackfeather. Blackfeather will not fall. Koshka will fall as a result. Blackfeather is actually able to get away, and now Blackfeather coming using that on point, taking a lot of damage. However, Vox diving onto that Gwen. Gwen will fall. Now Fortress is next. Blackfeather was not here for this fight. He was standing over the wall, and now Fortress will be the next to go down. Vox and Grace will chase this down very easily. Benediction is up in 2. There it is. Fortress will go down. Meanwhile, Blackfeather is safely back to base. But yeah, so essentially what happened there was Koshka dived onto Blackfeather. Koshka went down, and then Blackfeather, he was low, so he went like over here, but the fight was happening over here. So it essentially became a 2v2, and blue team won the 2v2, and he was just kind of out of the fight. So unfortunately, that will red team kind of lost their little edge, their little chance at coming back. Blue team still in the lead. However, the gold difference has definitely been made up. 37.2k to 37k. So really, really not much of a gold difference at all right now. Basically by, you know, about 600, 500 gold around there. So Grace looking to see what's going on. She's getting vision. That is very on the edge of that bush. I don't know if that will grant her vision inside of the bush as well, because the center of that scout trap has to be inside the brush in order for it to grant vision in all of the brush. That's kind of the rule. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. We see Gwen coming down. All of red team together. Meanwhile, blue team has to go ahead and gather up here for a potential engagement. We're going to see what happens here as both teams prepare for the fight. This fight could mean Kraken. If all 3 members go down, it will definitely mean Kraken. If it's the last one, then it'll probably just be another stalemate. Fortress dodging with Truth of the Tooth. Vox trying to kite from the back. Wait for it. Comes out, but Koshka's getting focused down very, very quickly. Koshka will fall. Now Vox is going to be next. He's trying to do as much damage to Gwen as he possibly can, but it's not going to be enough. And now Grace is the only one left. She will have to retreat. Attack of the back comes out. Holy Nova gets a stun on all 3 members of that red team, but it's not going to be enough for her. She is down. So unfortunately, Koshka got focused there very, very quickly. And once Koshka went down, Vox went down. And Grace was the only one left. So Sentry defeated. That will mean the Sentry, and now a Kraken for red team. So red team really getting this lead back for themselves. Very nice job. This game really is back and forth. We saw kind of red team a little edge in the beginning, and then blue team got like 2 team fights, and then red team red team started falling back, and then red team's kind of back now because they won this last team fight. So very interesting plays happening here. We're gonna see Fortress go up and hopefully harass a little bit. We see, Koshka trying to do as best as he can. Grace still isn't even out yet because Grace died so much longer after Koshka and Vox, but they really are going to have to be careful here. Oh, all of them in that bush. Vox almost just got annihilated. He is so lucky. So they are going to want to probably back off from this turret. It looks like they want to fight it, but really it has absolutely no barrier. Okay, the barrier is going to start regenning now, but really all it needs is a couple taps. They should probably engage or disengage. As you can see, Koshka kind of stuck in the middle. She will fall. Pretty much the same routine as all the other team fights. Vox will be next. If Vox can get back to his sanctuary quick enough, that would be great. Okay, it looks like they will be able to. Grace will not be able to. So now it is just Vox against all 3 members. This will most likely be the game, unfortunately, for the blue team. Unfortunately, Vox trying to get as much damage as he possibly can on the enemy team, but it's not going to be enough. He goes back into the sanctuary, comes back out. Gwen just doing a ton of damage to him, and actually he's doing a lot less to Gwen than she is to him. So yeah, it's unfortunately going to be the end of the game for blue team. Very well played by actually both teams. I will say very well played. Both played well. Unfortunately, that Koshka just kind of started at the end. She started diving in prematurely, and it kind of costed them the game because unfortunately she was not able to do the damage potential that she had to in order to lock down that Black Feather or that Gwen. And so once she got focused down, it was a 2 versus 3, and unfortunately Vox being very squishy as he is, it didn't go well for the blue team. So unfortunately that is going to be the game, but a very good match overall. 21 minutes, pretty much the standard time. Very well fought, 13-13, very, very close, I would say. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of the game itself, and of course my shoutcasting. Let me know if you guys want me to do more of these type of videos in the future, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.